So using that definition that we developed, let's imagine that we have 15 divided by a negative 15 divided by a 3. We can rewrite that as negative 15 times the inverse of 3, which is a 1/3, and we can produce that result. That's 15 times 1. There's an understood 1 underneath that fraction, so that equals 15 thirds. It's negative, since I have a negative times a positive, and then 15 thirds reduces down to a 5. So that would result in a negative 5. Another example, negative 20 divided by a negative 4. Rewrote it in a different form, but I want you to recognize it is a division problem, but it's also a fraction. So I wonder if there's some relationship between those two. So let's rewrite it in a form that we're a little bit more familiar with. Negative 20 divided by a negative 4. Rewrite that as a multiplication problem using our pattern up here. So negative 20 times the inverse of negative 4. What's the inverse? Negative 1/4. This 20 has an understood 1 in the denominator, so this becomes a negative. It's a negative times a negative, so that produces a positive result, and a positive 20 over a 4, and I can reduce that down to 5. So there's a little bit of a use of understanding the nature between the division problem and the multiplication of the inverse, and how those are essentially the same thing.